Morning, happy beautiful Tuesday. I don't remember the sky always being this beautiful. I wanted to get it in the backdrop here. I don't think my camera really does it justice, just showing how nice it actually is, but I think there's also a probability that I was just so miserable in the morning prior, just being groggy, not sleeping well, sedating myself from the marijuana. Maybe I didn't realize it. I wanted to note that, but just heading into work now for a session with Adrian. I'm gonna do that zone 2 video today instead. I'm gonna save the challenging limiting beliefs for later in the week. It's just good to kind of stockpile some content. It's up at 6:30 again, just before my alarm clock. So it's amazing when you actually sleep and don't just sedate yourself. All of a sudden you can become a morning person, inadvertently. Who would have thought? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. I got the zone 2 all filmed and ready to rock here. I'm gonna edit that this afternoon and just have a very dense protein shake with some oatmeal, some frozen blueberries. In here, trying to get that in really quick. I have a call with my client Pammy in Jersey really shortly. Then I'm back to the gym for the rest of the afternoon. Just wanted to give you a cheers. Cheers. This is a great way if you're strapped for time. Kind of choked. I just realized I'm like 5 minutes from work and I just realized I forgot Brenda's wig. I was gonna film a bunch of B-roll stuff for this zone 2 cardio. Damn it. Might have to figure something out and get creative here. Apologies if Brenda is not as frequent in this videos as I was hoping, but I'm a human, I make mistakes. The much awaited zone 2 breakdown. So most people think that the primary benefits of exercise is to burn calories, and it does. But as we learned in my video on total daily energy expenditure, which you should check out, it's much less than we might think. This is where a simple shift in terminology can be very beneficial when we look at the energy we are using for exercise. We aren't burning calories, we are burning fuel. How we utilize different fuels, such as glucose and fatty acids, is critical not only to our fitness, but also to our metabolic and overall health. Aerobic exercise, aka cardio, done in a very specific way, improves our ability to utilize glucose and especially fat as fuel. The key here are your mitochondria. In a very simplistic way, we can look at these cellular engines that can burn both glucose and fat. What is zone 2? Zone 2 is one of the 5 levels of intensity used by coaches and trainers to structure a client's program. Typically, zone 1 is a walk in the park, and zone 5 is an all-out sprint. So typically when it comes to measuring zone 2, you can look at your heart rate, which is going to be anywhere between 110 and 135 beats per minute. There is individual discrepancy with this, so just keep that in mind. One of the best ways to monitor this is the talk test, which is you are capable of holding a conversation, but it's going to be a strained conversation. As much as zone 1 may be a walk in the park for some, zone 2 might also be a walk in the park for some. So it's very much dependent on the individual and where they're starting from. Typically, when someone is working out at a lower relative intensity, they will be burning more fat. While at higher intensities, they would rely more on glucose, where things like high intensity exercise come into play. The healthier and more efficient your mitochondria, the greater your ability to utilize fat, which is by far the body's most efficient and abundant fuel source. The ability to use both fuels, fat and glucose, is called metabolic flexibility. When we cross the barrier into higher intensity exercise, then we rely more on fast twitch muscles, which produce more force, but are less efficient. They also generate more lactate in the process. Lactate itself is not bad, but the problem is that lactate becomes lactic acid when paired with hydrogen ions, which is what causes the acute burning you feel in the muscles when you are doing intense bouts of effort. Oftentimes, it's tempting to go too hard because the workout will feel relatively easy, but it is extremely important to recognize the importance of our body's capability to use fatty acids as energy. We all have fat on our body. Why wouldn't you want to put your body in the best position possible to utilize that stored fat as energy? One really clear sign that our mitochondria are not functioning optimally is that they are working too hard just to maintain baseline levels. This means that we are relying totally on glucose for all of our energy needs. And I say this with plenty of compassion, but the people who most need to burn their body fat, the people with the most of it, are unable to unlock virtually
any of the fat to utilize as energy. When we look at this over a period of time, such as years and decades, this can become very detrimental to one's health. When we do aerobic exercise, aka cardio, stimulates the creation of many new and more efficient mitochondria, while eliminating ones that we have that have become dysfunctional via a recycling process. This is why the age-old question of whether strength training or cardiovascular training is more important, simply an irrelevant question. Both are imperative to living a healthy and active lifestyle. Each have their own benefits in completely different aspects of your life. One of the greatest parts about Zone 2 training is the relative intensity is so low that you can perform a ton of it. As soon as we cross the thresholds into zones 3, 4, and 5, the recovery process is much more significant. This is why it's so important to thoroughly understand why less is more when it comes to intensity with cardiovascular training.
Today's been an interesting day. Today is a very much challenge perfectionism type of day, which is interesting because tomorrow is my day off. I'm actually starting to recognize that like this is the end of my week essentially, and I'm having a hard time finding words. I am easily frustrated, and it's just very indicative of the fact that I am likely quite fatigued and maybe even a little bit burnt out from the week. Because I was supposed to be covering the gym from 1 till 4. Tony had an appointment with his son, so I was supposed to be there. I had full intentions of filming all this B-roll. As you guys saw, I forgot my wig. And it was just a very frustrating afternoon in general, which all things considered it shouldn't have been. And there was nothing really that should have initiated this sort of frustrated response other than I think just fatigue. This is where vlogging is just a very cool process because of the fact that I can literally see on an hour-to-hour basis like where my perfectionism is trying to take over, and it's just causing me a lot of unneeded emotional response. I filmed a whole high intensity component of the Zone 2 breakdown that I was going to include. I screwed up the editing of that. That pissed me off. Then I just realized I could use that for future content. I screwed up editing so many times today in terms of laying over certain B-roll and then changing something, but then having the B-roll then get moved, so I had to go and adjust it. And just overall, just stupid, annoying things. Thankfully, Ashley actually had to reschedule her 4 o'clock appointment last minute, which truthfully worked out really nicely. I just have to go back for Archer now at 5:30, and Archer doesn't want to be filmed, as you guys know already. So I'm actually just gonna wrap this up here because there's no point in me bringing my camera just to walk to and from work. I'm gonna get this posted by the time I get to work, and that way when I do get home around 7, I can actually just chill and just kind of start my day off a little bit earlier. That Adam Grant book I'm reading right now is really, really, really good. There's a lot of insightful information in regards to perfectionism. This conversation with Lonnie the other day actually just saying, like, I think everyone, if you're on a sort of self-discovery journey, should attempt to vlog for a short period of time, or just be super diligent with journaling, but also journaling and reflecting on it. Because when you have to audit your hour by hour every single day, you really see where perfectionism tendencies try to take over and kind of ruin your day, to be blatantly honest. Yeah, the Zone 2 video is going to be posted here. In my head, I'm not happy with it, even though I don't know why, if it was something because I was kind of building it up for the last couple of weeks, thinking that it was going to be some masterpiece of a vlog. It's going to change your life and make you all want to go do Zone 2 cardio. I don't know what I was building up in my head, and maybe this is a good example to just be reasonable with your expectations, just in life in general. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said I was super stoked with this vlog. I think all in all, it's gonna be a helpful vlog regardless, but in my head, I could have done it better. But that being said, all I can do is control what I can control, which is showing up, putting out content, whether I think it's helpful or not. I know it's totally subjective, but as always, I'm just showing up here in as vulnerable and authentic of a way as possible, because that's all I can do, because perfect and imperfect doesn't exist. Please like, subscribe, comment if you found this helpful, pump my ego a little bit, let me know in the comments, it'd be much appreciated. But regardless, it's my day off tomorrow. Lots of reading, lots of decaf coffee. It's gonna be a great day off, and I'm pretty sure it's a much needed day off. So much love, as always, appreciate you. Vlog 51 in the books, consistently vulnerable and consistently imperfect as we all are as humans. Bye.